Brilliance Audio presents the unabridged recording of Gold of Kings, a novel by Davis Bunn. Performed by Phil Giganti. Chapter 1. The rain pelting 7th Avenue tasted of diesel and big city friction. Sean Syrell stared out the limo's open window and let the day weep for him. Sean gripped his chest with one hand, trying to compress his heart back into shape. His granddaughter managed to make the end of the block only because her aunt supported her. They turned the corner without a backward glance. Not till they were lost from view did Sean roll up his window. Storm's survival demanded that she be cut loose. He had fired her because it was the only way he could protect her. Sean knew the enemy was closing in. He had felt the killer's breath for days. Storm was his last remaining hope of achieving his lifelong dream and establishing his legacy. But the knowledge he had been right to fire her did little to ease the knife-edged pain that shredded his heart. The driver asked, "Everything okay, Mr. Syrell?" Sean glanced at the young man behind the wheel. The driver was new, but the company was the only one he used since the danger had been revealed. If the enemy wanted a way to monitor his movements in New York, he'd handed it to them on a platter. "Why don't you go for a coffee or something? I'd like a moment." "No can do, sir. I leave the wheel. They pull my license." Sean stared blindly at the rain-streaked side window. He could only hope that one day Storm would understand and tell Claudia, and the pair of them would forgive him. Unless, of course, he was wrong, and the threat did not exist. But he wasn't wrong. "Mr. Syrell?" Sean opened his door and rose from the car. "Drop my bags off at the hotel. We're done for the day." Sean passed the Steinway showroom's main entrance, turned the corner, pressed the buzzer beside the painted steel elevator doors, and gave his name. A white-suited apprentice grinned a hello and led him downstairs. Sean greeted the technicians, most of whom he knew by name. He chatted about recent acquisitions and listened as they spoke of their charges. The ladies in black, always feminine, always moody and temperamental, always in need of a firm but gentle hand. Among professional pianists, the Steinway showroom's basement was a place of myth. The long room was clad in whitewashed concrete. Beneath exposed pipes and brutal fluorescent lights stood Steinway's most valuable asset, their collection of concert pianos. All but one were black. The exception had been finished in white as a personal favor to Billy Joel. Otherwise, they looked identical. But each instrument was unique. The Steinway basement had been a place of pilgrimage for over 100 years. Leonard Bernstein, Vladimir Horowitz, Sergei Rachmaninoff, Leon Fleischer, Elton John, Glenn Gould, Alfred Brendel, Mitsuko Uchida. They all came. An invitation to the Steinway basement meant entry to one of the world's most exclusive musical circles. Sean Syrell had not been granted access because of his talent. As a pianist, he was mechanical. He did not play the keys so much as box with the music. He lacked the finesse required for greatness. But 15 years ago, he had done Steinway a great favor. He had located and salvaged the grand that had graced the White Palace, summer home to the Russian czars. After the Trotsky Rebellion, the piano had vanished. For years, the world believed that Stalin had placed it in his dacha, then, in a drunken rage, had chopped it up for firewood. But Sean had found it in a Krakow junk shop the year after the Berlin Wall fell, just one more bit of communist flotsam. He had smuggled it west, where Germany's finest restorer had spent a year returning it to its original pristine state. It was now housed in the Steinway family's private collection. The basement was overseen by Steinway's chief technician. He and an assistant were juicing the hammers of a new concert grand. Sean spent a few minutes listening and discussing the piano's raw tones. Then he moved to his favorite. CD 18 was more or less retired from service after 109 years of touring. Occasionally it was brought out as a favor to a special Steinway client. The last time had been for a voice piano duet.